You know what I'm tired of hearing about? BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You always hear people talking about how they're going to have a new currency, as if that makes any sense. How they're going to replace the US dollar, how that makes any sense. Or just how they're going to be on the rise and how the US has fallen. Some soy boy shit. And I'm here to tell you today that you should be embarrassed for saying that, for suggesting that. Because anyone who's talking like that has no clue what they're talking about. And if you've been listening to them up to this point, you should probably stop. Because they have no fucking clue what they're saying. I had to cut the first 20 minutes of this video. It was a little too based to be on my first YouTube video. But all you really need to know is that the 5 countries which constitute BRICS are a pretty sorry bunch. You know, you got Brazil, basket case. You got Russia, straight up retarded. Honestly, I think Poland could solo them at this point. I'm not even joking. You got India, developmentally delayed compared to where China was at the same stage of the demographic transition model that they're in right now. You know, honestly, if I had to start a business anywhere on Earth, I think India would unironically be last place. Like, just, oh my God. So I don't think that they're going to improve economically anytime soon. And it's a damn shame, because I actually really like India. But China, again, they're even more developmentally delayed than India is, compared to their East Asian neighbors like Japan, South Korea, or Taiwan, and where they were at the same stage of the demographic transition they're going through. So just overall, oh fuck, I forgot South Africa. But in South Africa, you know, all I'll say is I have ongoing concerns that they're going to remain a going concern, if you know what I mean. So overall, like, just the 5 of them, they're not doing well. They're doing pretty poorly. And even worse, there's already intra-BRIC conflict. There's BRIC-on-BRIC violence going on. You know, currently you have India and China bullying Russia because of the whole oil sanctions. So India and China are like, yeah, I know oil's like 100 a barrel. I think I'm going to pay you 60, 70, because you got no other choice. And Russia, fellow BRIC member, just has to take it. And then meanwhile, there's even conflict between India and China. You know, up in the Himalayas, you ever see those videos where they're going at it with sticks? Honestly, I love technicalities like that. But those are some great videos. Beyond that, though, just overall, they're not very unified as a group. They're not a cohesive group. But again, this just kind of makes you wonder, like, why are they a group? Who made them a group? Why did they join this group? How did this group come to be? Now, BRICS Currency, I want to get to that too. But first, how did BRICS come to be? It's a weird, again, it's an eclectic group. How did they come to be? Who made them? Who coined the term? It was a guy in his early 20s in 2006 at Goldman Sachs. You see, there's emerging markets, and the biggest ones were Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And they got all these equities on the stock market. But it's just hard to convince people to buy them, because at the end of the day, it's really risky. That's why they get such good returns, and that's why they're emerging markets. Emerging markets stumble, they falter, you know? Institutions are not that risk tolerant. And so they want a way to invest in that. They like the idea, but it's just the risk. Well, how do you get rid of risk? At least for an idiot. You diversify. Oh, boom, there's no risk now, right? And so what if we create a product that could encapsulate all these big 5 emerging markets, and we make them palatable to the average investor or institutional investor by making it less risky? We de-risk it a bit, you know? Diversify the risk away. So that was the idea of BRICS. Some guy at Goldman Sachs, my age or maybe a bit younger, he said, boys, I got it. We're going to call this thing BRICS because that's the closest to a word-sounding acronym you can make from these 5 countries. And we're going to say that this is an official thing. They are this group of emerging markets, and you can invest in our BRICS asset class, where we will invest in BRICS bonds, BRICS securities of any kind, and you will get exposure to those emerging markets with less risk. And they went out to market with that. They put out a paper, and overall, people ate it up. for a time because it was great. And then, the whole global financial recession and everything, and BRICS kind of went away. It was still referenced, but it all started as a marketing move from Goldman Sachs so they could sell you emerging market securities without you being stressed at night so much about the risk. That is what BRICS is. It's an investment product that someone made up, someone in their early 20s. And it wasn't a conspiracy to make up. It's not like someone had, in 20 years, fucking soy boys on the internet will be going, the West has fallen. This asset class marketing product we made is going to take over the world. They didn't think that. They thought, finally, a way to offload these risky equities and sell them to people. A way to get new capital into new funds so we can earn new fees. That was the conspiracy, and it worked for a time. But again, BRICS faded. Now it's back. I was actually telling someone about this here earlier today, and they were confused. They're like, BRICS, is that still a thing? I guess they're not online, but I see you talking about BRICS and how they're a group. Already, I've kind of touched on the fact that they've got intra-BRIC conflict. I do think China will take the Far East from Russia. I think Russia will retreat to the Urals. I don't really know what else to say other than that China's not exactly aligned. Being trained. Comment, subscribe, and smash that like button or I'm gonna smash a brick through your window. Where was I? BRICS, yes. All right, BRICS. This building is built of bricks, but my point being with BRICS is that it makes no goddamn sense. Now let me tell you why there's no reason, and if anything, there is every reason not to get together for a currency, because the currency is the main thing they talk about right now, right? They say, BRICS currency is going to come in, and it's going to become the new de facto global currency in the way USD is today, and it's going to replace the USD, which will collapse. That is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. So I think the best way to describe this would be to talk about Greece, all right? Take Greece, right? 2006, 2008, sometime around then, they had that financial crisis. And it was a big deal for the EU. Like in 2011 or whatever, it could have collapsed the euro, but it didn't. But, the reason it got so bad was not because Greece is a giant economy. I mean, they are surprisingly big. Their shipbuilding is huge. But my point being is that Greece has no currency of their own. They have the euro. And who owns the euro? Germany. And what's Germany want? Cheap euro, so they can export more cars. Greece? Who cares about Greece? Okay, Greece can suck their dick. And so they did. And Germany, when Greece was having their issue, normally you could, affect the interest rate, affect the quantitative easing, how much money supply was coming in. You could do any number of actions you normally could if they still had the Greek drachma or what the hell is, whatever. I'm going to call it drachma. It's a word I've only read, not heard. But their old currency they used to have. They could have just done the normal things you do with a currency, and it wouldn't have been that bad. Unfortunately, it was Germany's currency. And so Germany said, get fucked. And they got fucked. They did. And there was nothing they could do about it because it was Germany's currency, because Germany was just the economy. They had the control, and they decided, I want cheap exports. I want a good decade for Germany. And that's what they got because it was their currency. And I know it's not something that's, this isn't something I just knew. This isn't some ordained knowledge that only the select few could know. Every country knows Germany screwed Greece over, and Greece just had to take it. And they know why. It's because it was Germany's currency. I mean, Greece was a basket case, but it didn't have to be the way it was, right? And so every country knows that. Every country knows why Greece happened the way it did. Why would any country sign up to be Greece then? Because think about it, right? BRICS. Who's 90+% of BRICS? It's China. If you join a BRICS currency, you're joining China's currency. It's China plus, right? And so, especially knowing China the way they are, you think Xi Jinping's going to be like, oh no, Brazil's having a fiasco again. Oh, I guess I'll do what's best for Brazil's economy and ruin the rest of our currencies, mainly affecting me. No, No, at least Germany, for what they did to Greece, at least they gave them 100 billion euros or some shit like that to bail them out. You think China's even going to do that? No! I'll tell you what, China actually has personally harmed me. Maybe I do have a bias. I know I do. Because Xi Jinping, one day, 2015, back early in his reign, he woke up one day, and at the time, I was buying fake clothing off Taobao, and I was selling it as fake clothing. I wasn't scamming. I was selling it as fake clothing to people locally. And I was selling it at what the normal retail price would be, because it's 1-to-1, friend, okay? It's 1-to-1, and it was. But it is fake, and they knew that. And it was a good business, great margins. But during this time, I got a little bit of a lesson on Forex risk, because one day Xi Jinping woke up, and he's like, I know we're at like 1 to 5 USD or something right now. I think we're 1 to 6. I think it's 1 to 6. And so 1 to 6 it was. And so overnight, that $100 or whatever I deposited into Taobao, it became 80. Thanks, Xi. And so that was my lesson on China and how they control their currency. And to this day, everyone hates it, because I think they did it another time since then. I think they went from 6 to 7. This might be in CAD, not USD. I don't remember. I'm not researching. This is all memory. But my point being is that China just manipulates their currency openly to increase their export desirability so that it supports their industry. Mind you, at the expense of the Chinese worker. Don't ever forget that. All of this currency devaluation they do, it is at the direct expense of the actual Chinese citizens. It's purely to boost their GDP, because big number is what they target. But anyway, at the end of the day, every country knows this is how China acts, because there is a giant track record to look back on. And it's all recent, and it's all under this guy, Xi. And she's gonna screw you. She's crazy. You should never go with her. You gotta break up with her, man. She's no good for you. And so at the end of the day, the other BRIC members, it's really just C, and they're looking on, and they're like, would I join a BRICS currency? Now, they say they would. Take India, like, oh yeah, no, BRICS currency, that's real. I'm going to start trading in, Indian rupees for now, just to lean towards a BRICS currency. But that really benefits them. And more importantly, their talk of a BRICS currency is not real, because they're doing the same as good Ali Nasser, Egypt, Ali Nasser. He's a great example. He played both sides. He played both sides very well. And so he had both the Soviet Union and the U.S. funding him. I think to this day, the U.S. gives them like $2 billion or something per year. And that's money well spent, because what you get for it is worth it. Yeah, it's not right, I guess. You're right. Like, it's like stupid we have to pay them. But on the other hand, as an Egyptian, you should be kind of proud that your leaders were able to do that, because that's a good leader. Playing both sides and getting what's best for Egypt, good on him. And again, America benefits more than the $2 billion they give. So all around, it's a good trade. That's what every BRIC country is doing right now. Hopefully the train's quieter in here. But that's what every BRIC country is doing right now. Anyone who's like, ooh, BRICS currency, or ooh, god damn, I'm bricked up right now. So anyway, China, if it's a currency, it's going to be China's. And if China owns the currency, they're going to do what China wants, which means that no other country benefits from being in China's currency. You think that people enjoy the U.S. doing what they do? You think the people currently with other currencies in the world enjoy the U.S. saying, oh yeah, we're going to jack up interest rates? No, it's fucking them. You think Japan's happy right now? No. They got no choice. That's the difference. And now, are people going to have a choice between the USD and the Chinese BRIC currency if it were to come to fruition? Yes, there's literally a choice. And at the end of the day, for the US raising interest rates and pressing other economies, I'll take that any day of the week over China just deciding, 5, nah, 6. And that's the issue with the BRIC currency. No one trusts China, because China has shown time and again that they're going to do what China wants. And what China wants is usually pretty radical. Where, at least with the States, if they do things that you don't like, it's incidental, but more importantly, it's not as impactful. Not a word, but it should be a word. It is not as impactful, because when it comes down to it, you at least know they're not going to completely run roughshod over the world economy for self-serving benefit. Look at our mailing system. China currently is in the most favored or economically developing nation mail system, which means you get to buy stuff off China and the shipping cost is pennies on the dollar, and America eats the cost. Because, again, America is taking a lot of L's for the global economy right now. If America really was doing America first, it would be worse off overall for everyone. But more importantly, America would definitely be the victor in the New World by far. Because a lot of the stuff that China's exploiting right now, it's only because America lets them exploit it. Oh, the global mailing system where they get to pay a penny per dollar worth of actual shipping costs, that's only because America lets them. Oh, you get to go and get super easy regulations, no tariffs, all this stuff. You get to steal all our IP and we do nothing about it. Like, oh my God. America should be doing more, and they should be pushing back. But at the end of the day, though, everyone and their dog knows they'll take America any day of the week over any other country. Not just because it's the devil you know, but just because you know they're the best devil, the most saintly, Christ-like devil you've ever known in history. And they're probably, well, I hope there will be more, but I don't know. It seems like we're in a downturn. We're in a downswing. People are retreating. It feels like everywhere is not doing great right now, doesn't it? And that is true. But at the end of the day, we're going to miss the US if they ever stop being the hegemon. And you will know what you lost only after you lose it. It's easy to say the West has fallen when it hasn't, and when you haven't realized what you are asking for. That's all I have to say on the matter. I'm gonna smash a brick through your window. Oh, shit. Oop. Did not mean to do that one. Sorry, Brick Factory. That's what I get for doing take 20.